Hello, everybody. Hope all is well at your end. We study will be simple. In today's lecture, we will be talking about organizational behavior from Islamic point of view and the perspectives of some scholars. Uh, Islam is, of course, a religion of peace and brotherhood. Islam is a constitution for the Muslim Ummah. Now, what will be the links and what will be the parts that Islam discusses about the organization behavior? Islamic teachings tell us to be kind, to be well mannered, to be well set up, to be well dressed, and in all aspects of life, Islam guided us. Uh, Islam is a kind of law, is a kind of a constitution for Muslims. So, in every aspect, whether that is business, whether that is social, whether that is economical, in any part of the life, Islam has guidance. Uh, the influence of religion on most aspects of one's life is obvious, and Islam is a religion governs a man's and a human's life. The Quran teaches us, and Quran and the Sunnah are the guidance for Muslims in every sphere of. Uh, as I told you before, that Quran and Sunnah are the constitution for all Muslims, and Muslims should prepare themselves uh, as uh, per the rules and regulations set up by Islam. So, therefore, Muslims must adjust their behaviors accordingly. What uh, fidelity, the relationship between a spouse, a brother, parents, behaving in the market, and borrowing and lending. It means hello everybody. Hello. Sorry for disturbance. Uh, Religion has a great and direct impact on human behavior, social interactions, and social relations. By nature, humans have many questions in their minds, and is lacking that. Since Muslims have in research for that in such areas, so we do not have to complain of the Islam or the Quran. No, we have to complain of ourselves. We come to the manners, the behaviors. Islam sets a framework which shapes the moral and ethical behavior for Muslims. The Quran says to the Prophet Muhammad in Quran, it says, وَإِنَّكَ لَعَلَى خُلُقٍ عَظِيمٍ, means that you a kind of namuna, uswa hasana for as he was an example of akhlaq. Uh, there is a hadith that Aisha radiallahu anha was asked about the akhlaq of Muhammad alayhi salam. So she told, study the Quran and it's all the akhlaq of the Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. In another place, uh, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, you are certainly on the most exalted standard of moral uh, excellence in Surah Al-Qalam, ayat number 68. We come to the organizational characteristics and the things that organization need. uh, we since we are studying organization behavior, so what will be the link of organizational behavior and with the Islamic studies, Islamic perspectives? OCB, in the first lecture, you remembered we studied it. uh, the Islamic teachings tell us to do welfare activities with people. At that time, there was no name for organization in the era of Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, but there was an organization. We did not put the name. People were voluntarily doing activities for others, helping others, assisting others, doing chores and tasks for others. So at that time, there was no name for that activity. Today, we call it organizational citizenship behavior. What is uh, organizational behavior, citizenship behavior? It means the extra role behavior, the extracurricular activities that are important for an organization, but they are not uh, set. They are not set in the formal job descriptions of a person. Over the past decade, studying individual behavior has been a very interesting topic for the researchers, and the common objective of those studies define individual behavior, which of course contribute to the long-term successfulness of the company. People were neglecting before such activities, but today, oh, sorry, today there has been many researches over OCB and organizational behavior, individual behavior. Today there has been many researches over it. As I said, there what is organizational behavior? Organizational behavior or extra roles for a person performs in within the organization, and that is an important aspect for organization. It means the extracurricular activities will give a plus point, a kind of efficient activity for the organization, and they will not be in the person's uh, job description. So he does voluntarily and for welfare, helping the organization, boosting the performance of others. Next is communication. Communication means uh, doing the means of receiving and sending the information. Poor communication, of course, causes harms to the organization and to the individuals. Islam forbids that. Uh, there is there. It was in Sunnah of Muhammad sallam, saying he was saying a speech, a statement thrice, three times, and very much slow, very much understanding. He used simple words. The eye contact was okay when he was talking to someone, so he was looking at him in his eyes. He was repeating those sentences three times. So Islam teaches us that while talking, you have to be very careful, you have to have eye contact, and the things you are going to state have to be repeated until the person understands. Uh, the next is etiquettes of dealing with others. What are the etiquettes, characteristics? What are the behaviors? What are the manners? How we deal people? Um, Islam is not only the worshipping of the five times a day, paying zakat and doing Hajj. No, Islam teaches us also to do deals in the market, to do well, how we behave with people in the market. It says we are created as males and females and as prophet pupils and tribes. The Quran explicitly it says on that human beings, we created you all from a male and a female and made you into nations and tribes so that you may know one another. Verily, the noblest of you in the sight of Allah is the most God fearing of you. Surely, Allah is all knowing, all aware. In Surah Hujurat, it says that man, humans are created from different tribes, males and females. But the one who is the noblest, the one who is very pious, the one who has taqwa is the one who is near to the Allah. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives us a kind of direction, instruction that there should be no race discrimination. Anyone who is muttaqi, who has taqwa, who is God fearing, is near to the Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Thirdly, resolving differences. The same ayah was should be said that uh, we do not have to do discrimination of race, religion, language, any other discriminations. Islam urges followers to resolve conflicts and differences between people by obeying Allah. Again, the thing came to the resolution of conflicts and differences, discriminations. The Quran says the believers are but brothers, so make settlement between your brothers. In Quran, it says that uh, in Surah Hujurat that you are created as brothers, so make peace, resolve problems with your brothers. The conclusion says that Islam is not only the worship of few ibadah, but it gives us the entire life. It is a way of life. The Quran never suggests us, but it commanded us to do activities. A true Muslim is the one who uh, implements the commandments of the Quran and Sunnah in his daily life. A true Muslim is the one who chooses Islam for uh, all the activities he suits or he doesn't suit. What Islam says, he accepts that. Islamic teachings have laid foundations for good, sound, and ethical behavior. There are set of uh, principles for them, and Muslims should, of course, abide by them. Good communication, good interaction between people is what Islam teaches us, and they are accepted by the Lord, and they will be rewarded by the Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Next is what is the relationship of human psychology in Islam? What is Islam and what is the relationship of human psychology with it? Psychology plays a vital role in human personality, and Islam is, of course, very much interested in this. Um, when we say psychology, we refer to, and the Islamic concept is spirit, self, heart, and wisdom. Uh, it means Islam discusses these aspects of human personality and their role in the Holy Quran. Quran gives us the spirit, and the word nafsiyat is also giving us these teachings from the Islamic perspective. Early Muslims wrote extensively about human nature, and it was called ilmul nafsiyat, or we call it self knowledge. In many cases, their work seems to be original ideas from many modern day psychological theories and practices. Uh, Many have been written about the psychology in the Islamic era, but they have not been set uh, in a framework. And uh, the Holy Quran and Sunnah is deeply interested in human psychology. As I told you that it was in early years, centuries, it was called ilm al-nafsiyat. Holy Quran is especially concerning with human psychology, provides correct knowledge about it as well as guides to the means of protection and care from psychological disturbances. Islam gives us how to protect ourselves from anger, anxiety, fears, sadness, disappointments, confusion. All these are treated in Islam and in Islamic teachings and the Sunnah. We will discuss some scholars who have contributed to this subject of psychology, Islamic psychology, and some have been discussed. The first one we are going to discuss is Ibn Sina, who was uh, lived in 980 from 1037, who's a Muslim scholar, eminent Muslim scholar, and he wrote many books about the medical, and his book Al Shifa, which mostly uh, is about the nafs, and in his one of the chapter is about kitabun nafs. He says in kitabun nafs, in his sixth chapter, his second volume, that there are four terms for the uh, psychology, and that are ruh, which is called spirit, nafs, which is called soul, heart, which is called qalb, wisdom or intellect, which is called aql. Uh, the next uh, poet, the next scholar, Mr. Allama Iqbal, who is a national poet, says about personality, and he divided those two personalities into two. One is physical and the other is spiritual, and he says that the human personality is comprised of the second one, and that is spiritual. He says that human personality is interlinked and is spiritual activities. Uh, the Holy Quran, of course, used the term nafs for the human personality. If we refer to the Islamic teachings and the Quran, nafs is used for the personality, and it represents the complete picture of human personality. Another scholar by the name of Imam Bausauri, who is eminent poet, says in his one of verse Odd, he says, Nafs is like an infant. When you continuously feed him, it will be habitual to it. But when you try to stop feeding him, he will, of course, leave you easily. It means that nafs, or personality, is developed. In that time, he says that uh, nafs, or the personality, can be developed, can be improved. So another scholar who has contributed to psychology and to the human behavior is Ashad bin Qais al-Kindi. He was lived from 801 to 866. Al-Kindi, in Latin we call Al-Chindius, or Al-Kindis, he was from Baghdad. He is considered the first Muslim philosopher. He wrote about 239 titles, including books and short treatises, short mujalla. Uh, his most of the important books related to psychology are Sleep and Dream, First Philosophy, and Eradication of Sorrow. Kendi explains sorrow as a spiritual. Spiritual means nafsani grief caused by a loss of loved one or personal belonging. He says that sorrow, gham, comes when there is a loss of loved ones. If you lose loved ones or personal belongings, you lose personal belongings, or by failure in obtaining great what by obtaining what one lusts after, what one who searches for. So sorrow comes in. Uh, he says that if pain causes are visible, the cures can be found. If he says in Ilm al-Nafsiyat, he says that if the causes of pain are visible, cures can be found. He says that it's curable. In his book Hamarana 1984, page number 362, he said, another scholar who contributed is Abu Bakr Muhammad ibn Zakaria al-Razi, Imam Razi, we call him. He lived from 864 to 932. He was a Persian uh, he was a psychotherapist, He was a mentor of his mentor, Al-Tabari, also was a psychotherapist. He pointed out that hopeful comments from doctor encouraged patients, made them feel better, and promoted speedy recovery. Look, he says that if there are comments which are hopeful for the patients, it will reflect on the recovery of the patient. The same case is with the organization. If a manager treats his employees and his subordinates well, there will be efficiencies, there will be effectiveness and boost in the performance of them. Uh, Another scholar, uh, this will be the last scholar we will be discussing, is Abu Nasr Muhammad ibn al-Farah. We call him Imam Farabi or Al Farabi, who was living from 872 to 950. Uh, he is known as Al Farabius Ebenezer or Abi Nazar was. He was Turkish. He wrote his small treatise Mujalla on social psychology. He has presented a model by the name of Moral City in social psychology. Al-Farabi stated that isolated individual could not achieve all the perfection by himself. It means nothing can be done self. He says one cannot do all the activities. He says with the aid of another individual, there should be help sought from others. In this, if we link this speech with the organization, it means that teamwork is a beneficial activity. One individuals cannot work for activities. Okay, teamwork is what he has discussed all about. Thank you very much. This was all about the Islamic perspective of human behavior, psychology, and some scholars who have degrees.